You've just hatched from an egg the size of a speck of dust. Congratulations. Welcome to your new life as the world's most indestructible microscopic creature. Now you're probably thinking, hey, being indestructible sounds pretty awesome. But hold your microscopic horses, because let me tell you, it's not all it's cracked up to be. For starters, you're born into a world where literally everything is trying to eat you. You're basically the cosmic equivalent of a walking snack. At barely half a millimeter long, you're nothing more than a chunky water balloon with 8 stubby legs and a vacuum tube for a mouth. Real intimidating. Your body looks like someone took a gummy bear, sat on it, gave it claws, and then shrunk it down to the size of a period. You're so small that dust mites look at you and think, wow, that guy should hit the gym. Your first moments of life are spent figuring out how to work those ridiculous little legs. 1 step, 2 step, oh great, a current just swept you halfway across the moss forest you call home. Your entire existence is spent clinging to whatever surface you can find, desperately trying not to get washed away every time it rains. Which, by the way, feels like standing under Niagara Falls when you're smaller than a period at the end of a sentence. Imagine trying to navigate through life when a single dewdrop feels like an Olympic swimming pool and a slight breeze could send you flying across the continent. That's your daily commute. Let's not even get started on the places you end up living. Damp moss? Mud puddles? The crusty underside of some lichen? 5-star accommodations, really. You spend your entire life drenched in water or other mysterious fluids, living in what's essentially the back alley dumpster of the microscopic world. And because you're a tardigrade, you don't get to be picky. Oh, this roof gutter filled with decaying leaves looks lovely. I think I'll settle down here and start a family, said no other self-respecting creature ever. But you? You call it prime real estate. Let's talk about your diet. You spend your days sucking the juices out of plant cells or slurping up bacteria. Delicious pond scum. It's like spending your entire life drinking nothing but green smoothies, only without the Instagram likes. Sometimes, if you're feeling particularly adventurous, you might puncture a fellow tardigrade and drain its fluids. Yes, that's right. Cannibalism is on the menu when food gets scarce. Family reunions are really awkward. Hey, wasn't your brother here last week? He was? Oh, well, he was delicious. I mean, nice. He was nice. Mealtime is a real struggle, too. You don't have teeth or anything resembling a proper digestive system. Instead, you have these pointy stylets inside your tube mouth that you use to punch holes in cells and then suck out their contents like some microscopic vampire. Imagine having to stab everything you want to eat and then drink it through a straw. No cheeseburgers for you, just cell juice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And there's no food delivery service in tardigrade world. You have to waddle your way to every meal on those stubby little legs, hoping you don't get eaten yourself before you find something to munch on. Speaking of getting eaten, let's talk about your predators. Nematodes, other tardigrades, amoebas. Basically, anything slightly bigger than you sees you as a walking protein shake. You don't have any defenses except for your thick cuticle skin, which does absolutely nothing when a nematode decides to slurp you up like a tasty milkshake. Your best defense strategy? Hope they don't notice you. That's it. That's your sophisticated survival mechanism. If I don't move, maybe that giant death worm won't see me. Spoiler alert, it usually does. You think your dating life is complicated? Try being a tardigrade. Sometimes you're male, sometimes you're female, and sometimes you're both. Talk about identity crisis. When it's time to mate, you have to hope you bump into another tardigrade in the vast microscopic universe you inhabit. The odds aren't great when your entire dating pool exists in a single drop of water. Dating apps? Forget about it. Your idea of a romantic encounter is literally bumping into someone in the dark and hoping they're in the mood. For males, courtship consists of circling the female until she's either impressed or just too tired to swim away. Real smooth moves there, Romeo. And if you're female, congratulations. You get to carry around eggs that are almost a third of your body size. Imagine being pregnant with a baby the size of your torso. And after all that effort, what happens? You lay your eggs and just leave them there, probably to be eaten by another tardigrade. Mother of the year material right there. But wait, it gets better. Some female tardigrades skip the whole mating dance altogether and just fertilize their own eggs. That's right. You might just reproduce with yourself because finding a suitable mate is too much hassle. It's like nature looked at your dating prospects and said, yeah, this is hopeless. Just do it yourself. Talk about settling. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Your supposed superpower of being indestructible. Sure, you can survive in the vacuum of space, withstand temperatures from near absolute zero to well above boiling, go without water for decades, and endure radiation levels that would turn other creatures into puddles of goo. Sounds impressive, right? Except here's the thing. Just because you can survive those conditions doesn't mean they're pleasant. Whenever things get too extreme, you curl up into a little ball called a ton state, basically shutting down until conditions improve. That's right. Your survival strategy is essentially turn off and hope for the best. It's like hitting the cosmic pause button and waking up whenever the universe decides to be less cruel. You might enter this state and wake up years, maybe even decades later. Talk about missing out on life. While you're curled up in suspended animation, you've missed countless tardigrade generations, the rise and fall of civilizations, and probably several Marvel movie phases. And the process of entering this ton state? Absolute torture. Your body loses up to 97% of its water. Imagine shriveling up like a raisin, with all your internal organs cramming together, your metabolism screeching to a halt, and your cells producing special proteins just to keep you from completely falling apart. It's like the world's worst hangover that lasts for potentially decades. Sure, you survive, but at what cost? You're literally a dried-up husk hanging between life and death. Oh, and when conditions improve and you rehydrate? It's like the worst morning after ever. Your cells swell back up, your organs have to remember how to function, and your brain, or whatever passes for one in your microscopic body, has to come back online. It's like rebooting a really old computer. Takes forever and half the programs don't work right anymore. Your average lifespan, assuming you don't get eaten, dehydrated, or lost in space, is a whopping 2 to 3 years. That's if you're lucky. Most of you won't make it past a few months before becoming lunch for a nematode or another tardigrade. All that indestructibility for what? So you can spend a few more months sucking on moss? It's like having an indestructible car that can only drive in your driveway. What's the point? The real kicker is that despite being able to survive 5 mass extinctions that wiped out countless other species, including the dinosaurs, you've accomplished absolutely nothing. You've been around for over 500 million years and haven't evolved much at all. While other creatures developed wings, intelligence, or at least a decent set of teeth, you're still the same blob with legs that your ancestors were hundreds of millions of years ago. Talk about career stagnation. Even cockroaches have more ambition than you. Despite all your survival skills, you have absolutely zero impact on the world around you. Nobody notices when you're born. Nobody mourns when you die. You could vanish tomorrow and the ecosystem wouldn't even hiccup. Talk about existential crisis material. You're the ultimate cosmic extra, present for all of history's biggest moments but never actually doing anything noteworthy. You're the guy in the background of every major world event photo, but no one knows your name. The worst part? You don't even get any respect for your indestructibility. Humans might know you as water bears or moss piglets, which, let's be honest, are the least intimidating nicknames possible. Imagine surviving conditions that would kill every other creature on Earth, only to be named after a chubby farm animal. It's like calling Godzilla Forest Kitten or Darth Vader Grumpy Space Dad. The disrespect is real. You don't even get good PR. When people think of cool survivors, they think of cockroaches or sharks or crocodiles, creatures with actual teeth and intimidation factor. Meanwhile, you're out here surviving actual space exposure and nuclear radiation, and what do you get? Featured in a few science journals that nobody reads and occasionally trotted out as a fun fact at parties. Did you know tardigrades can survive in space? Cool, anyway, about my vacation. You burst from your egg pod alongside about 80 siblings, all crammed together in a tiny underground chamber like the world's worst family reunion. Welcome to life. Your first achievement is simply digging yourself out of the sand, pushing through soil particles 10 times bigger than your head. Your soft, pale little body flexes with every movement, still tender from forming inside that egg. Congrats on the workout. You'll need those muscles for your 6-week sprint to the finish line that is your entire existence. You're not even a full centimeter long at this point, just a squishy white noodle with legs eager to experience the world before it inevitably crushes you. You emerge into blinding desert sunlight, your soft exoskeleton barely hardened, looking like a miniature adult, but without the wings. Just a jumped-up sand flea with ambitious dreams. The moment your antennae taste air, you're already hungry. Like stomach growling, would eat anything hungry. Your entire biology is essentially just an eating machine with legs attached. Desert living doesn't exactly come with a welcome basket of snacks, and the scorching sun immediately starts to darken your pale skin into a mottled brown camouflage. Evolution's little gift to help you blend in, though it hardly matters when you're traveling in packs of thousands. Your first meal? Whatever pathetic desert vegetation you can find. As you nibble on a sad-looking desert shrub, you realize you're not alone. Your siblings and thousands of other hoppers are munching alongside you, turning the landscape into an all-you-can-eat buffet with very limited options. The early bird gets the worm, but the early locust just gets whatever hasn't been devoured yet. Your powerful mandibles slice through tough plant material like it's butter, your digestive system designed for one purpose only: turn plants into more locust as efficiently as possible. The desert sun beats down mercilessly, temperatures soaring to 120 degrees Fahrenheit by midday. Most creatures would seek shade, but not you. Your cold-blooded body soaks up the heat like it's free energy, which it is. The hotter it gets, the faster you move, the more you eat, the quicker you grow. It's a strange life strategy, but hey, nobody asked for your opinion when they designed the desert locust blueprint. By day 3, you've shed your skin once and grown slightly larger. Molting isn't exactly glamorous. Imagine peeling off your entire body and leaving it behind like last season's fashion. It starts with a strange tingling sensation. Then your exoskeleton splits right down your back. You spend almost an hour wriggling free, soft and vulnerable, before your new skin hardens. The good news is each molt makes you stronger and hungrier. The bad news is literally everything wants to eat you. Birds swoop down regularly, picking off your siblings like they're sampling appetizers. You watch helplessly as a desert lark gulps down 10 of your brothers in one feeding frenzy. Lizards dart from under rocks, gulping down hoppers by the mouthful. Even ants will drag away the weaklings who can't keep up. Every day is a lottery where the prize is simply making it to sunset. A week in, and the real fun begins. You notice something strange happening around you. The quiet, solitary locusts are starting to bump into each other more. With every collision, you feel a little jolt, almost like electricity. Your hind legs brush against another locust, and suddenly your brain chemistry shifts. You're becoming more social, more active. Your once dull brown color starts developing hints of yellow. What's happening? You're going gregarious, baby. See, desert locusts have this wild party trick. When too many of you get crowded together, thanks to a good rainy season or dwindling food, you transform from solitary, peaceful plant nibblers into a collective nightmare. Your brain gets flooded with serotonin every time you touch another locust, turning you into a social butterfly. Or rather, a social eating machine. By your third molt, you're hanging with the cool kids. Your body is now distinctly yellow with black patterns, and you're moving together in hopper bands. Thousands of wingless locusts marching across the desert like a living flood. The hoppers around you aren't just random individuals anymore, they're an extension of yourself. You move as one entity, making decisions collectively without any leader. Scientists would call it swarm intelligence, but there's nothing particularly intelligent about it, just a series of simple behavioral rules playing out across thousands of identical tiny brains. The result is terrifyingly efficient. Anything green in your path gets obliterated. You can eat your body weight daily, which doesn't sound impressive until you realize there are millions of you doing exactly the same thing. A single square kilometer of your hopper band can munch through tons of vegetation per day. Farmers who spot your yellow mass approaching their fields simply abandon all hope. What took them months to grow, you'll destroy in hours. The band moves methodically, like a military operation. Dawn breaks, and as the sun warms your cold bodies, the march begins. The rhythm is hypnotic. Hop, land, eat, hop, land, eat. Those at the front get first dibs on fresh vegetation. Those at the back get leftovers or resort to cannibalism when food is scarce. It's not personal, it's just survival. Your fallen comrades are just another form of protein. Waste not, want not. You're also playing the world's most intense game of don't get eaten. Birds follow your hopper band like it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. Wasps dive in for the takeaway special. Shrikes impale your brethren on thorns, creating macabre locust kebabs for later consumption. Desert foxes and jackals paw through the outskirts of your band, gorging themselves on easy prey. After 5 molts and about 3 weeks of this chaotic desert march, something magical happens. You hang upside down, shed your skin one final time, and emerge with wings. Actually, 2 pairs of them. Tough forewings for protection and delicate hind wings for actual flying. They unfurl slowly from your back, crumpled and wet at first. Congratulations, you've reached adulthood. Most of your siblings didn't make it this far, so take a moment to feel special before the existential dread sets in. You've got maybe 3 more weeks to live if you're lucky. Those tiny wings don't look like much, but they're marvels of natural engineering. They can carry you hundreds of miles without rest, beating continuously at about 16 flaps per second. They generate their own lift and thrust, allowing you to reach speeds of up to 20 kilometers per hour. Not bad for something that was a worm-like creature just weeks ago. The physics of your flight would impress aerospace engineers if they weren't too busy figuring out how to kill you and your millions of friends. Your daily routine becomes simple. Wake up, warm up in the morning sun, fly with the swarm for hours, devour any vegetation you land on, rest, repeat. You can travel up to 150 kilometers in a single day, which is pretty impressive for something the size of your pinky finger. The swarm follows the wind and rain, always seeking fresh fields to destroy. Weather patterns become your navigation system. You ride the fronts of storms, intuitively sensing shifts in barometric pressure that signal rain, which means new plant growth, which means food. About a week into your adult life, it's time to think about continuing the species, if you can call it thinking. It's more like a hormonal imperative. As a male, you perform a little dance to attract females, rapidly fluttering your wings to create a distinctive sound while releasing pheromones that drive the ladies wild. As a female, you're looking for the strongest males with the most impressive moves. The competition is fierce. Remember, the sex ratio is roughly equal, and every locust is trying to pass on their genes before time runs out. Mating is quick and businesslike. No candlelight, no dinner, just a brief connection, and you're done. Romantic? Hardly. Efficient? Absolutely. If you're female, you'll spend your final days searching for soft, moist sand to drill your abdomen into, laying those 80 to 100 eggs about 2 inches deep. The egg pod is protected by foam that hardens into a waterproof case. Your final act of motherhood is basically creating a time capsule of future destruction. How thoughtful of you. This is where you differ from many insects. You don't just lay eggs and move on. You invest significant energy ensuring those eggs survive the harsh desert conditions, even if you'll never meet your offspring. And then, after 6 exhausting weeks of molting, marching, flying, eating, and mating, you die. Just like that. Your body drops from wherever you happen to be, becoming food for the desert ecosystem you've been ravaging. No retirement plan, no golden years, just sudden system failure. Your tiny heart stops mid-beat, your wings freeze mid-flap, and gravity claims another victim. The circle of life at its most brutally efficient. The best part? The eggs you laid will wait patiently in the sand until the next rain. They can stay dormant for months or even years if necessary, an insurance policy against drought. Then they'll hatch, and the whole apocalyptic cycle begins again. You won't be there to see it, of course. You'll be dead, possibly mid-chew on some farmer's cherished crop, suddenly dropping from the sky like the world's weirdest precipitation. Death by buffet overconsumption. Talk about going out with your mandibles full. You're born in a rocky crevice somewhere in Africa, tumbling out alongside your 3 siblings, all wet and squeaky like tiny hairy potatoes. Your mom doesn't even give you time to process this whole being alive thing before she's nudging you toward her nipples. Drink up, kid. We've got a schedule to keep. Welcome to life as a hyrax, where you're basically a guinea pig that thinks it's a rhino. First day on the job, and you're already equipped with some bizarre features. Apparently, evolution thought it would be hilarious to give you molars similar to elephants and toenails that look suspiciously like hooves. Identity crisis much? You're literally rockin' elephant teeth in a body the size of a rabbit. Thanks, nature. Real funny. Your first week is basically a crash course in don't become lunch. Mom takes you and your siblings out for a sunbathing session on the rocks, but it's really just an excuse to teach you how to freeze like you're playing the world's most intense game of red light, green light. See that eagle circling overhead? Yeah, he's not admiring your adorable pudgy body. He's calculating how many calories you contain. By 2 weeks old, you're already munching on plants alongside the adults, your tiny elephant-like molars grinding away at leaves and grasses. Everyone in the colony sits in a circle, stuffing their faces while one poor sucker has to play lookout, standing on the highest rock and scanning for predators. They call it sentinel duty, but really it's just the worst seat at dinner. You quickly learn that your colony operates on a strict safety in numbers policy, which means when danger shows up, like that leopard slinking through the tall grass, it's not about outrunning the predator, it's about outrunning your slowest cousin. Not to be harsh, but little Timmy over there with the gimpy leg is definitely not making it to next week. At least you've got some defense mechanisms, right? Wrong. Your main survival tactic is screaming like you're auditioning for a horror movie and running for the nearest rock crevice. Sometimes, if you're feeling particularly brave, you'll puff up your fur to look bigger. Yeah, that'll really intimidate the jackal. You went from snack-sized to appetizer-sized. Congrats. Your toilet training consists of learning to poop in a communal latrine because apparently hyraxes are too fancy to just go anywhere. The whole colony uses the same spots, creating these massive poop piles that scientists actually study to track climate change. That's right, your bathroom habits are contributing to science. Feel special now? As you grow, you discover that your feet have this weird, sweaty gland that helps you stick to rocks like some discount Spider-Man. It's not exactly a superpower you'd brag about. Fear not, citizens. I can climb this slightly angled surface without slipping. Sometimes. Puberty hits around 2 years old, and suddenly all the males in the colony who aren't your dad start looking at you differently. But don't get too excited. Mating season is basically a rock concert where one male hyrax gets all the groupies. He'll spend hours making these elaborate calls that sound like a broken toy combined with a rusty door hinge. Somehow, the ladies find this irresistible. Evolution has strange taste in music. If you're a male, good luck. You've got 2 options. Either become the colony's rock star singer and defend your status against every other male with musical aspirations, or join the Bachelor Hyrax Club where you'll spend your days plotting how to overthrow the lead singer while practicing your vocal exercises in secret. For females, life isn't much better. Once you're pregnant, you're stuck carrying as many as 4 babies for around 7 months. That's right. 7 months of pregnancy when you're only the size of a house cat. Then you give birth to these fully developed mini hyraxes with open eyes and ready to rumble. No rest for you, though. They'll be nursing for the next 3 months while simultaneously learning how to chew your food and steal your sunbathing spot. Speaking of food, hope you like to multitask because eating requires constant vigilance. Take a bite, lift your head, scan for predators. Take another bite, lift your head, scan again. It's like trying to enjoy a meal while watching a horror movie. You never know when the jump scare is coming, but you're pretty sure it involves talons or teeth. Your extended family isn't exactly the Brady Bunch either. Colonies can have up to 80 individuals, all competing for the best sleeping spots, the juiciest leaves, and the prime sunbathing real estate. It's basically a never-ending reality show where getting voted off the island means becoming Eagle takeout. You spend about 95% of your day either eating or pooping, which doesn't leave much time for developing hobbies or pursuing higher education. The other 5% is divided between grooming, fighting with your siblings over who gets to sit next to mom, and practicing your freeze and pretend you're a rock technique. Water? Who needs it? Your body has evolved to extract most of your hydration needs from the plants you eat. which sounds great until you realize that during dry seasons, your diet consists of increasingly bitter, moisture-depleted vegetation that tastes like cardboard marinated in battery acid. Just when you think you've got this whole hyrax life figured out, you discover that your species has the bizarre habit of suddenly relocating the entire colony for no apparent reason. One day you're comfortably established in your rocky home, and the next, everyone's packing up like there's a massive sale at Rockmart across the valley. By the way, you produce these weird, waxy secretions that humans actually collect to make perfume. That's right. Some part of your body goo ends up in fancy bottles labeled Eau de something French, selling for hundreds of dollars. Do you get royalties? Of course not. You're too busy running from hyenas to hire a copyright lawyer. And just when you've survived to the ripe old age of 7, dodging eagles, outrunning leopards, and maintaining your position in the colony hierarchy, what's your reward? Arthritis. Your tiny body starts to betray you, those rock-climbing abilities deteriorate, and suddenly you're the slowest cousin when danger strikes. Oh look, there's a snake approaching. Wait, is that a mongoose? No, it's just your reflection in a puddle. False alarm. But that racing heart and the adrenaline spike has probably just shaved another month off your already short lifespan. Congratulations on living in a constant state of terror where even your own shadow can trigger cardiac arrest. Your social life is basically one long meeting about who sits where on the rocks, interrupted occasionally by everyone screaming and running in different directions, only to reconvene 10 minutes later and continue the seating chart discussion as if nothing happened. And don't even get me started on your digestive system. You're basically an elephant squished into a guinea pig's body, complete with specialized gut bacteria to break down tough plant matter. Sounds impressive until you realize you're spending half your life waiting for leaves to ferment in your intestines while hiding from literally everything that moves. You know what's the real kicker? You're actually related to elephants and manatees. That's right. Your closest living relatives are either stomping around the savannah, weighing literal tons, or floating serenely in warm coastal waters. Meanwhile, you're stuck in this tiny, anxiety-ridden body, hiding in rock crevices and eating last season's leftovers. Oh no! Look out! Wait, never mind, it's just a falling leaf. But in that split second, you just peed a little, screamed like a banshee, and gave yourself another gray hair. And that, my friend, is the essence of hyrax life. Constant panic punctuated by brief moments of eating bitter plants while dreaming of what could have been if evolution had made you just a teensy bit bigger or, gave you some actual defense mechanisms besides scream and run. Wait, what's that sound? Is it a predator? Is it another colony? No. It's just your own heartbeat thundering in your ears because a butterfly flapped its wings 3 miles away and your hyrax brain interpreted it as imminent death. And now there's a real eagle diving straight for your fuzzy little head and... Ah! Pop. The tiny egg cracks open and here you are, a silkworm baby. Not even a moth yet, just a teeny caterpillar with a huge appetite and 0 life skills. Welcome to the world. Your first thought isn't about how beautiful life is or what adventures await. Nope, it's just food. Now, you're basically a hungry tube with legs, and you only want one thing: mulberry leaves. Not pizza, not candy, just mulberry leaves all day long. Boring, but you don't have time to complain because you need to stuff your face constantly. Your whole job right now is to eat and grow. You'll increase your size about 10,000 times in just a few weeks. That would be like a human baby growing to the size of a blue whale before their first-month birthday. You have 0 friends in this leaf-chomping phase of life. All the other silkworms around you are also too busy eating to chat. Everyone's just munching away like it's an eating contest with no prize. The sound of hundreds of tiny mouths chewing leaves fills the air. Nature's most boring symphony. And the smell? Let's just say a room full of hungry caterpillars doesn't exactly smell like roses. More like a salad bar that nobody's cleaned in weeks. Your days blur together in an endless cycle of munching leaves. Chew, swallow, poop, repeat. That's your entire life story so far. Not exactly thrilling material for your biography. The good news is nobody's trying to eat you, since you taste awful. The bad news is you're so helpless that a light breeze could probably end your whole career. When you're not eating, you're sleeping. And when you're not sleeping, you're molting, which means your skin gets too tight, so you have to wiggle out of it. 4 times you'll shed your skin, and each time is super uncomfortable. Imagine trying to pull off a sweater that's 3 sizes too small while also having no bones and no hands. Not fun. Each molt leaves you feeling fresh but super tired. You sit there looking at your old skin like, was I really wearing that? It's the world's grossest fashion makeover, and you get to do it 4 whole times. After each molt, you're bigger, hungrier, and somehow even more boring. Your skin feels all soft and vulnerable for a while, like when you wear new shoes and get blisters. The only difference is you don't have feet, just these stubby little legs that move you from one leaf to the next. Real exciting stuff. After about a month of this leaf-munching marathon, you suddenly feel weird. You're not hungry anymore. What a strange feeling after doing nothing but eat since birth. Your body tells you it's time for the next stage, making silk. You find a nice spot and start spitting out a special liquid from glands in your mouth. When this liquid hits air, it hardens into a silk thread. You spin this thread around yourself over and over, thousands of times, until you're wrapped in a cozy cocoon. Inside your silky sleeping bag, something incredible happens. Your body melts. Not kidding, you turn into caterpillar soup. All your organs dissolve except for some special cells that have been hiding inside you, waiting for this moment. These cells start building a whole new body from your melted parts. Wings, antennae, different legs. The works. It's like tearing down a kindergarten building and using the same materials to create a rocket ship. This soupy transformation is called metamorphosis, and it's both super cool and super gross. Imagine if you went to bed tonight and woke up as a completely different creature. While you're melting and rebuilding, you're not aware of anything. It's like the longest, weirdest nap ever. Your body is busy following ancient instructions coded in your DNA, turning your squishy caterpillar parts into delicate moth parts. You're getting fancy new muscles for wings you've never had before. Your simple caterpillar eyes are being replaced with compound eyes made of thousands of tiny lenses. Even your brain is changing. Old caterpillar memories about which leaves taste best, gone. Replaced with new instincts about flying and mating. 2 weeks later, it's time to break out of your cocoon. But wait, where are your teeth? You don't have any. You spit out a special liquid that dissolves a hole in the silk. Then you push and squeeze until you pop out head first. Hello, world. Look who's a moth now. Except, something's not right. Your wings are all crumpled and wet. You hang upside down, waiting for blood to pump into them so they'll expand. Slowly, your wings stretch out. They're white, with maybe a few brown marks. Not exactly flashy, but they're yours. Now you can finally fly and enjoy life, right? Wrong. Your mouth doesn't work anymore. All those fancy mouth parts you had as a caterpillar, gone. Replaced with a useless stub. You literally cannot eat or drink anything, ever. From this point on, you're basically starving to death, but very slowly. You have maybe a week to live, tops. And what's your mission during this super short adult life? Finding a mate, of course. If you're a boy moth, you have to flap around frantically trying to find girl moths by following their smell. Your antennae are super sensitive and can detect female scent from miles away. It's like having a GPS that only gives directions to potential dates. Female moths have it slightly easier. They just sit around releasing smelly chemicals called pheromones that basically shout, "Hey boys, over here!" Then they wait for the males to show up. Romantic, right? Once you find a mate, the whole thing takes just a few minutes. Then, if you're female, you lay about 300 tiny eggs. You carefully glue each egg onto a mulberry leaf. It's exhausting work when you're already starving. If you're male, you just fly off looking for more females until your energy runs out. And that's it. Game over. No retirement plan, no golden years. You drop dead from exhaustion and starvation after just a few days of adult life. All that work, eating all those leaves, building your silk cocoon, transforming your entire body, just for a few days of flying around without even getting a single snack. Nobody throws you a goodbye party. Nobody writes you a moth obituary. You just fall from the sky or drop off a leaf somewhere, and that's the end of your story. After all that dramatic transformation, your big finale is just becoming a snack for ants or turning into dust on the ground. Talk about an anticlimactic ending. Some of your moth friends might live an extra day or two if they're really lucky. But what's one more day when you can't even enjoy a sip of water or a bite of food? Your stomach is basically just for show at this point, the biological equivalent of those fake pockets on fancy pants. The worst part? While you were wrapped up in your cozy cocoon, doing your soup-to-moth transformation, There's a good chance someone dunked your cocoon in hot water to kill you and unravel your silk thread. Silkworm silk is super valuable, and each cocoon contains about half a mile of silk thread, so billions of your brothers and sisters never even get their few days of flapping around. For those lucky enough to become moths, the final insult is how bad you are at flying. After all that work transforming into a winged creature, your flight skills are embarrassing. You flap around like a drunk paper airplane, bumping into everything. You can barely steer. Thousands of years of domestication have made you plump and clumsy. Wild moths would laugh at you if they weren't busy avoiding bats. Oh, and those fancy white wings. They're completely useless for hiding from predators. You stick out like a sore thumb against any dark background. Birds, bats, spiders. They all see you as a convenient flying snack. Your only defense is flying at night, but even then, bats can hear your clumsy wing flaps from far away. The final nail in your moth coffin? You're not even remembered for who you are, just what you make. People don't care about your short, difficult life or your amazing transformation. They just want your silk for fancy scarves and smooth bedsheets. After thousands of years of domestication, you've become the ultimate one-hit wonder. Famous for a single thread that you spend your whole caterpillar life preparing to make. You're basically the most exploited fashion worker in history. Congratulations, you've lived the most thankless life in the insect kingdom. And that's saying something. Crack! Your eggshell splits open and your wet, naked body flops out onto a bed of wood shavings. Welcome to life as a kaiik. You're basically a pink, wrinkled potato with a giant head and closed eyes. Not exactly a glamorous entrance. Your siblings are in similar shape, all of you squirming around making pathetic squeaking noises. Mom flies down and looks at you all with what might be pride, or maybe she's just checking which one of you looks the tastiest. She decides to feed you instead. Lucky day. She regurgitates a warm, mushy seed paste directly into your mouth. Nothing like pre-digested bird vomit to start your life? Your parents take turns stuffing your face with this gourmet mush. You just sit there with your mouth open, demanding more like the world's neediest alarm clock. Your whole existence revolves around eating, pooping, and growing feathers. Speaking of feathers, they start poking through your skin like tiny needles. Itchy doesn't begin to describe it. By week 3, you start looking less like a raw chicken nugget and more like an actual bird. Your eyes open to reveal the wooden nest box that's your entire universe. So, this is what you've been missing? Exciting stuff. Now that you can see, you notice your siblings trying to climb all over each other. They're practicing to be the bully of the nest. You join in because, why not? It's not like there's anything else to do in this wooden prison except wait for the next delivery of regurgitated seeds. At 6 weeks old, you finally sport a full set of feathers. Your body is covered in bright green plumage. Your head and thighs are splashed with vibrant orange or yellow, depending on whether you're a black-headed or white-bellied kaiik. And you've got a stubby little tail. You're looking pretty sharp for someone who still begs for food with those baby bird screams. You've also discovered your feet aren't just for standing. They're like extra hands. You grab everything, twist upside down, and generally act like the wild acrobat you were born to be. Your parents watch with what looks like bird exasperation as you hang from one foot, flapping around for no reason other than it feels amazing. Time to leave the nest. Your parents nudge you toward the entrance hole. The world outside is huge. Trees stretch up forever. The sky is endless, and there are so many sounds you've never heard before. Terrifying, but awesome. Your first flight attempt is more of a controlled fall as you flutter awkwardly to a nearby branch. Flight school begins immediately. Your parents demonstrate perfect takeoffs and landings while you crash into leaves and bounce off branches. They make it look so easy. Meanwhile, you're still figuring out how to coordinate your wings with your brain. It's like trying to drive a car with no steering wheel. You finally get the hang of flying, more or less. Now comes the hard part. Finding food that isn't pre-chewed by your parents. They show you how to crack open seeds and nuts with your powerful beak. You try it yourself. The seed shoots across the forest like a rocket. Try again. This time, it slips out of your foot and falls to the ground. Your parents pretend not to notice your struggles, but you can tell they're laughing inside. Living in the wild Amazon rainforest isn't all acrobatics and seed cracking. There are dangers everywhere. Hawks circle overhead looking for a colorful snack just like you. Snakes slither through the branches, hoping to catch a distracted kaiik. Even some of the bigger parrots might decide you look like trouble and chase you away from the best feeding spots. You stick close to your family flock for protection. There's safety in numbers, plus they know all the good feeding spots. You all travel together from tree to tree, looking for fruits, nuts, and flowers. The older birds always get first pick, naturally. You get the leftovers, but hey, that's still better than nest vomit. Sleeping arrangements are another challenge. You find a cozy hollow in a tree and squeeze in with your family. Everybody wants the middle spot where it's warmest and safest. Being the rookie, you get pushed to the edge where it's drafty and exposed. Sweet dreams. Life settles into a routine. Wake up at dawn, screech loudly because you can. Fly to feeding areas. Eat until your crop is bulging. Play around by swinging upside down and wrestling with your siblings. Find more food, avoid predators, and return to the roost at dusk. Not a bad life, except for the constant threat of becoming someone else's dinner. The rainforest has rules, and rule number 1 is, someone always wants to eat you. But you've got tricks. When danger approaches, you freeze completely still, your green feathers blending with leaves. Or you dive into dense foliage where larger birds can't follow. Sometimes the whole flock erupts in loud alarm calls, creating such a racket that predators just give up and look for quieter meals. Then one day, something changes. You start feeling odd urges. You want to show off your flying skills more. You puff up your feathers and bob your head when certain other kaiiks fly by. Congratulations, you've hit kaiik puberty. Now begins the awkward phase of trying to impress a potential mate without looking completely ridiculous. Courtship is complicated. First, you have to find someone who's both impressed by your head-bobbing dance and not already paired up. Then, you have to convince them you're worth spending the next 25 to 30 years with. Your colorful feathers help, but personality matters too. You try regurgitating some choice fruit for a pretty kaiik with bright eyes. She accepts your gross gift. Progress. After a whirlwind romance of food sharing and mutual preening, you're officially a pair. Time to find a nest. This means hours of exploring to find the perfect tree hollow. Too small and you'll be cramped. Too large and predators can get in. Too exposed and the rain will soak you. It's basically bird real estate hunting, and the market is competitive. You finally find the perfect spot and defend it fiercely against other cavity-nesting birds. Your mate lays 2 to 4 eggs, and now the real fun begins. Both of you take turns sitting on the eggs for hours at a time. Have you ever tried sitting perfectly still for 8 hours straight? It's mind-numbingly boring. The eggs finally hatch, and now you're on the other side of the food chain. Your babies scream for food constantly. You fly back and forth all day gathering seeds and fruits to regurgitate for these ungrateful little noise machines. They grow so fast that no matter how much you feed them, they always want more. Your life is no longer your own. You belong to these hungry beaks now. Before you know it, your chicks are fully feathered and ready to leave the nest. You teach them everything you learned. How to fly, how to find food, how to avoid becoming a snake's lunch. They're not particularly good students, but they'll learn eventually, just like you did. Life continues this way, season after season. You raise clutches of chicks. Some survive, some don't. That's just nature. During dry seasons, food becomes scarce, and everyone fights over the limited resources. During wet seasons, the abundance is amazing, but so is the competition from other hungry animals. Your once vibrant plumage starts to fade a bit with age. You're not as quick to dodge that hawk as you once were. The younger kaiiks don't show you the respect you clearly deserve, but you've got wisdom they lack. You know which fruits ripen first and where the safest sleeping spots are. You've survived this long for a reason. One morning, you wake up feeling extra stiff. Your mate nudges you affectionately. You've been together for decades now, through good times and bad. You've raised countless chicks and survived all the jungle could throw at you. You stretch your wings and prepare for another day of kaiik life. You launch from your roosting spot for your morning flight, your colorful feathers catching the first rays of sunshine. Life as a kaiik has its challenges, but soaring through the canopy with the wind in your feathers and the whole jungle spread out below you. Not so bad after all. Even if a jaguar is eyeing you from a branch and thinking, parrot for breakfast? Don't mind if I do. Squeeze out from between the folds of a rotting log and boom, you're alive. No dramatic entrance, no birth announcement. Just a tiny, squishy, worm-looking thing with too many legs. Welcome to your life as a velvet worm. And yes, you're as soft as you feel. Right off the bat, your mom actually stuck around. which is a nice change of pace in the insect world. She spent months carrying you inside her body, and now you're out, ready to experience all the glorious wonders of being, well, a living tube with stubby legs. You crawl around, looking like someone took a caterpillar and stretched it on a taffy puller. First things first, you need to figure out how those legs work. There's a lot of them, anywhere from 13 to 43 pairs depending on what kind of velvet worm you are. That's right, you might have up to 86 legs. Imagine trying to coordinate all those at once. It's like being the world's worst millipede impersonator. You wobble around on your soft, unjointed legs, moving like a drunk accordion. No bones, no joints, just hydraulic pressure moving fluid around your body to make those stubby legs work. Nature really phoned it in on this one. The first few days of life are a blur of figuring out how not to trip over yourself. Eventually, you get the hang of it, sort of. Your walking style is still best described as enthusiastic wobbling, but at least you're moving forward now. Time to learn about hunting because you're hungry and those antennae on your head aren't just for show. You spot a small cricket nearby and get ready for your first hunt. This is where things get weird. You don't have claws or powerful jaws. Instead, you have something way grosser. Slime cannons. 2 openings near your head can shoot sticky, quick-hardening goo up to 16 inches away. That's like you being able to sneeze glue at something half a football field away. You creep closer to the cricket, your body low to the ground. The cricket senses something and starts to move. Now's your chance. You fire your slime jets, and streams of white goo shoot out, crisscrossing over the cricket like a spider web made of super glue. Except your aim is terrible. You're new at this, remember? The slime shoots wide, missing the cricket entirely and hitting a nearby pebble instead. Great, you just gift-wrapped a rock. The cricket starts hopping away while you frantically reload your slime cannons. It takes about 15 minutes to produce more slime, not exactly rapid-fire weaponry, but you're persistent if nothing else. Round 2. This time you inch even closer, practically nose to antenna with your prey. The cricket freezes, perhaps wondering what this strange bluish tube with legs is doing. You fire again. This time, success. Streams of white goo coat the cricket, hardening almost instantly. The cricket is stuck, struggling against your sticky trap. You waddle over, taking your sweet time because, let's face it, you're not winning any speed contests with those legs. Now for the fun part, eating. You inject digestive saliva into the cricket through your jaws, which turns its insides into a smoothie that you can slurp up. Yum. Your first meal is a success, even if the process is nightmare fuel for anything watching. You grow slowly, hiding in damp places during the day and coming out at night to hunt. The forest floor is your kingdom, as long as that kingdom is dark, wet, and filled with rotting things. You avoid light because your soft body would dry out faster than a towel in the desert. No tough exoskeleton for you, just that velvety, water-permeable skin that gives you your name. One night, you're sliming your way through the leaf litter when suddenly the ground shakes. A torrential downpour begins, turning your normally damp environment into a full-on swimming pool. Water rushes through your habitat, creating tiny rivers between the rocks and logs. For most bugs, this would be a disaster. But for you, it's more like a water park opening day. Your soft body actually loves the extra moisture, though swimming isn't exactly your forte with all those legs flailing about. The rushing water carries you away from your familiar hunting grounds, depositing you in a new section of forest you've never explored before. New territory means new challenges, but also new buffet options. Here, you discover a colony of termites living in a rotting stump. Jackpot. It's like finding an all-you-can-eat restaurant that doesn't know you're coming. You spend the next few nights gorging yourself on termites, shooting slime with reckless abandon, creating what looks like the aftermath of a tiny glue factory explosion. You spend most of your time under rocks, inside rotting logs, or among the leaf litter where it's nice and humid. This isn't exactly the glamorous life of soaring eagles or roaming lions. Your daily commute is literally moving from one piece of decaying wood to another, living the high life. At some point, you notice other velvet worms around. Some are smaller, some larger, but all equally squishy and leg-heavy. You're not exactly a social butterfly, or social velvet worm, in this case. You mostly ignore each other, except when it comes to food. If prey is scarce, things can get ugly. Bigger velvet worms might decide smaller ones look like a nice meal. Size matters in your world. And unfortunately, you're not the biggest slime shooter in the forest. Months pass, and you continue growing. You molt your soft outer layer from time to time, shedding it like an old sweater that's gotten too tight. Each time, you're vulnerable until your new skin hardens a bit. During these molts, you hide in the dampest, darkest spots you can find, hoping nothing finds you while you're literally caught with your pants down. After about a year or so, you reach adulthood. If you're a female, you're probably bigger than the males around you. Size queens, the lot of you. If you're a male, you're smaller but still have all the slime shooting skills needed to survive. Mating season arrives and things get weird again. If you're a male, you deposit a package of sperm somewhere on the ground. That's right, you don't even hand it directly to the female. You just leave it there like forgotten takeout and hope she finds it. The female then picks it up with her genital opening. Talk about low-effort dating. If you're a female, congratulations. You now get to carry developing eggs or embryos inside your body for months. Some velvet worm species lay eggs, while others give birth to live young. Either way, it's a long process that takes a lot out of you. And after all that work, you might eat some of your babies if food is scarce. Family dinner takes on a whole new meaning. Years go by, and you continue your squishy existence. You've survived rain that could drown you, dry spells that could dehydrate you, and countless predators that would love to have you for lunch. Birds, reptiles, and even other invertebrates all see you as a walking snack bar. Your only defenses are hiding, running away, slowly, and shooting slime. It's not much, but it's gotten you this far. Your typical day goes something like this. Wake up at dusk, crawl around looking for food, shoot slime at anything smaller than you, eat, avoid being eaten, find a new damp spot to hide, sleep. Repeat for the next 5 to 7 years if you're lucky enough to live that long. It's not exactly the material for an action-packed movie. As you get older, your slime shooting accuracy might improve, but your body starts to wear down. Those many legs don't move as quickly as they used to. Your once vibrant blue or orange or brown velvet skin, depending on your species, starts to fade. Hunting becomes harder, and avoiding becoming someone else's dinner takes more effort. One night, as you're hunting, you notice something moving nearby. It's bigger than you, and it's spotted you first. You try to retreat to the safety of a nearby log, but your aging legs aren't as coordinated as they once were. The predator, maybe a small reptile or a large spider, moves in. You fire your slime cannons in desperation, but the predator is too quick. It's got you now. In your final moments, you might reflect on your life as a velvet worm. All those crickets you liquefied and slurped, all those damp logs you called home, all those legs you somehow managed to coordinate. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't fast-paced, but it was yours. And now you're about to become an inside-out smoothie yourself. The circle of life, velvet worm style. And just when you think it's all over, the predator suddenly drops you. A larger predator has appeared, and your would-be killer decides it's not worth sticking around. You slither away, missing 2 legs but otherwise intact. Turns out today is not the day you become someone's protein shake. You crawl back to your log, leaving a trail of blue blood behind you. Yes, your blood is actually blue, the one cool thing about being a velvet worm. As you recuperate in your damp sanctuary, something extraordinary happens. Your missing legs begin to regenerate. Slowly but surely, tiny buds form where your legs once were. Over time, they grow into fully functional, if slightly smaller, replacement legs. It's like having a built-in spare parts kit. Not many creatures can regrow body parts, but you've got that superpower tucked away in your squishy arsenal. The seasons change and you've somehow survived another year. You're practically ancient in velvet worm years now. Your once vibrant color has faded to a pastel version of its former glory. Your slime doesn't shoot quite as far as it used to, but you've learned a thing or two in your time crawling through the forest floor. You've survived floods, droughts, predators, and even that one time you accidentally slimed yourself and spent 3 days stuck to a leaf. You've feasted on hundreds of insects, produced dozens of offspring, some of which you may or may not have eaten during tough times, and explored at least 20 square feet of forest, an epic journey by velvet worm standards. As you settle into a particularly cozy spot in a rotting log for what might be your final rest, you reflect on your strange existence. You never climbed a mountain, swam an ocean, or flew through the sky, but you mastered the art of moving 86 legs in harmony, shot slime with the precision of a tiny, soft marksman, and survived in a world where almost everything wanted to eat you. There's probably a lesson here about perseverance or luck or the unpredictability of life, but honestly, you're too busy being relieved that all 86 of your legs are still attached to your body to care. Pop! There you are, fresh out of your egg in a dark tunnel under someone's garden. Welcome to life as a mole cricket. Your first instinct is to dig deeper, which is good, because that's pretty much what you'll be doing for the rest of your short life. You wiggle out of your egg alongside 30 of your brothers and sisters. Mom's long gone. She dug this tunnel, laid the eggs, and pieced out. Dad? Who knows? Being abandoned at birth might seem harsh, but honestly, it's for the best. Adult mole crickets aren't exactly winning Parent of the Year awards, and they sometimes eat their own young when hungry, so maybe count your lucky stars they didn't stick around for a family dinner where you're the main course. The nursery chamber she left you in is pretty cozy, though. Just the right humidity, temperature, and depth to give you a fighting chance. It's probably the nicest place you'll ever live, which says a lot about what you have to look forward to. Your body looks ridiculous. You've got these massive front legs shaped like tiny shovels. They're perfect for digging, but try explaining that to the other insects who laugh when you attempt to walk normally. You lumber around like you're wearing oven mitts on your hands. But underground? That's where you're the champion. Those shovel hands start moving instantly. You don't need lessons. You just know how to dig. It's hardwired into your tiny brain. Down you go, making your first tunnel. The soil feels good between your diggers. This is your element. The world above is bright, scary, and full of predators that would love nothing more than to snack on a plump little mole cricket like you. Your first meal is plant roots. Not exactly a gourmet feast, but when you're a mole cricket, you take what you can get. You munch through them, leaving a trail of angry gardeners wondering why their plants keep dying. Sometimes you mix it up with a bit of underground fungi or even tiny soil-dwelling insects. Variety is the spice of life, even when you live in total darkness. Within weeks, you've already outgrown your exoskeleton. Time for your first molt. Your skin splits open and you wiggle out, soft and vulnerable. You hide in a special chamber you've dug until your new exoskeleton hardens. This whole ordeal will happen multiple times throughout your life. Imagine having to peel off your entire skin and then sit around naked and defenseless several times a year. Not fun. The worst part? That moment of panic when your old skin gets stuck on one of your shovel hands and you have to wriggle extra hard to get free. It's like trying to take off a wet sweater in a public bathroom stall. Awkward, uncomfortable, and if something goes wrong, potentially fatal. Water is both your friend and enemy. A light rain moistens the soil, making it easier to dig. But a heavy downpour? That's a disaster. Your tunnels flood, and you're forced to surface, where birds are having what looks like an all-you-can-eat mole cricket buffet. You scramble to higher ground, those shovel hands working overtime as you desperately dig a new home. As you grow bigger, you discover one of your special talents. You can swim. Unlike most insects, you don't immediately drown when submerged. Those same ridiculous front legs that make you look silly on land turn out to be excellent paddles in water. When your tunnels flood, you can swim to safety, outlasting many of your tunnel mates. 3 months in, and you're feeling strange urges. Your body is preparing for yet another molt, but this one's different. You emerge with wing pads. You're not a full adult yet, but you're getting there. 6 molts later, around 6 months into your life, you finally reach adulthood. Now you've got fully developed wings tucked under those wing covers. But don't get too excited. You're not exactly built for graceful flight. When you do take to the air, it's more of an awkward, bumbling affair that screams, "Eat me," to every predator around. If you're a male, you've developed something else too, a built-in musical instrument. Parts of your wings have evolved into a sound-producing machine. You dig a special tunnel shaped exactly right to amplify your song. It's like building your own concert hall just to perform one song over and over again. Night after night, you sit in your tunnel and chirp away, hoping to attract a female. Your song can be heard up to 500 meters away. That's the equivalent of a human being heard from 5 miles away without a megaphone. Talk about commitment to the arts. Most males never get lucky. They sing their hearts out night after night, but no female ever comes. They eventually die alone, having spent their entire adult life as underground musicians giving concerts to empty venues. You, however, have better luck. One warm night, a female follows your song and enters your tunnel. The date is quick. No dinner, no movie, just a brief encounter, and she's gone, off to find a suitable place to lay her eggs. If you're a female mole cricket, once you've mated, you're on a mission. You dig an elaborate brood chamber about 30 centimeters underground with special curved tunnels designed to maintain the perfect temperature and humidity. You lay up to 300 eggs, carefully arranging them in the chamber. Then you leave, never to see your offspring. Your maternal duties completed in the most minimalist way possible. Regardless of your gender, your days are numbered. Adult mole crickets typically live just a few months after reaching maturity. You spend them doing what mole crickets do best: digging, eating, and avoiding becoming someone else's dinner. Speaking of dinner, you've got a target on your back, or thorax technically. Everyone wants to eat you. Birds peck at the ground, listening for your movements. Moles, the mammal kind, ironically love to munch on mole crickets. Skunks, raccoons, and armadillos will dig you up without a second thought. Even other insects, like ants and beetles, will attack you if they catch you in a vulnerable moment. One day, you're digging a new tunnel when you sense vibrations. Something big is coming. You freeze, hoping it will pass. But the vibrations get stronger. It's a mole, and it's hungry. You try to dig away, but those shovel hands that make you such a great digger don't help you dig fast enough to escape a natural-born tunnel predator. The mole gets closer and closer, and wait. You manage to squeeze into a tiny crack in the soil that the much larger mole can't follow. That was close. But this is your life now. Constantly digging, constantly hiding, constantly one step away from becoming something's snack. Winter approaches, and if you live in a colder climate, you dig deep, really deep. You can burrow down almost a meter underground to escape the frost. There, you enter a state of dormancy. Your body functions slowing to conserve energy. You're essentially hibernating until spring brings warmth back to the soil. When spring arrives, it's time to start the cycle again. You emerge from your deep winter bunker, hungry and ready to mate once more if you haven't already. The world above has changed seasons, but your underground kingdom remains largely the same, dark, damp, and full of roots to munch on. As your body ages, your digging becomes less efficient. Those once powerful front legs don't move soil like they used to. You find yourself having to rest more often. One day, you're simply too weak to dig properly or too slow to escape a predator. Your time as a mole cricket comes to an end, likely as a meal for some other creature. But don't feel too bad. In your short life, you've moved more earth relative to your body size than any construction worker could dream of. You've survived floods, predators, and the indignity of having hands that look ridiculous but work amazing. And if you're a male, you've been a one-man band, performing nightly concerts from your self-designed amphitheater. Your tunnels will remain long after you're gone, a complex network of highways and byways that future generations of soil dwellers will discover and either appreciate or completely destroy. It's your underground legacy, your architectural masterpiece that nobody will ever fully appreciate because, well, it's underground, and you're just a cricket with shovel hands. And just when you thought mole cricket life couldn't get any worse, your tunnel collapses right as you're about to score a date with the hottest female in the garden. Talk about being cock-blocked by your own home. You spend your last moments frantically digging upward, wondering if mole cricket heaven has better soil conditions and fewer predators. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. But at least there, no one can hear you scream when you accidentally dig straight into a mole's living room party.